If your dog is over 7 years old and you bought a low-protein, senior food, you may be accelerating his muscle loss, which reduces mobility and strength. The biggest myth about senior nutrition is that they need less. The truth is the opposite. They need 50% more.
All right, let's talk about something that can feel, well, just incredibly confusing. Dog food. And today, we're really going to focus in on our senior dogs, what they actually need to feel their best in their golden years. So, let's get right into it. You know the feeling, right? You walk into the pet store, you turn down that aisle, and bam! You're hit with this wall of options. All these bags with beautiful, happy dogs on them, all screaming things like natural, holistic, grain-free. It's a lot. It's totally overwhelming. How are you supposed to know which one is the right one for your best friend?
Well, if you've ever felt that way, listen, you are definitely not alone. But here's the good news. There's a way to make sense of it all. And in this explainer, we're going to give you a simple toolkit to help you cut right through all that marketing noise so you can be a super confident, informed pet parent.
And it turns out most of us are already thinking along the right lines. A survey of over 1,300 dog owners showed that almost 63% of us think ingredients are the #1 most important thing. And, hey, you're not wrong. But the real question is, do we know which ingredients to look for, and maybe more importantly, which myths to ignore?
So that brings us to our very first tool, learning to actually read the label. This thing is your secret map to figuring out what is really inside that bag. Let's break down the 3 most important parts you need to look for.
First up, you've got the guaranteed analysis. Now, think of this like the food's basic spec sheet. It gives you the minimums for things like protein and fat, and the maximums for fiber and moisture. It's a decent start for sure, but it doesn't really tell you the whole story about the quality of those ingredients.
Next, we have the ingredients list. And here is the absolute key you have to remember. Everything is listed by weight before it gets cooked. What that means is the first few ingredients on that list make up the vast majority of what's in the food. So you really want to pay close attention to what's at the very top.
And finally, you want to look for the AAFCO Statement. Now, AAFCO stands for the Association of American Feed Control Officials. It's a mouthful, I know. But this little sentence is your guarantee. It tells you the food is complete and balanced and that it meets the basic nutritional needs for your dog's stage of life. It's basically the official seal of approval.
Okay, so now that we know how to read the map, let's talk about the destination, the actual building blocks of your dog's health. We're going to go beyond all those fancy marketing buzzwords and look at what your dog's body actually uses to thrive. You know, every single complete and balanced diet is built on these 4 pillars. You've got protein, which is essential for maintaining muscle. You have carbs for energy and good gut health. Fats are absolutely crucial for their joints and their skin. And then, of course, vitamins and minerals keep the whole internal engine running just right. All right, let's bust a couple of really big myths that you're going to see on that ingredient list. That word byproducts, it can sound kind of scary, right? But in reality, it often just means super nutritious organ meats like liver and kidneys. And fillers, that's another one people worry about. But a lot of the time, that term is just used for really valuable fiber sources that are actually essential for a healthy gut.
So all this information is the foundation for any healthy dog at any age. But as our dogs get older, the ground kind of shifts under their paws. Their bodies change, and guess what? Their nutritional needs change right along with them.
I mean, it's just like with us, right? Getting older brings a whole new set of challenges and requirements. A diet that was absolutely perfect for your dog when they were 4 years old might not be what they need when they're 10. It is all about adapting to support their changing bodies. And one of the biggest changes has this kind of scientific-sounding name, sarcopenia. It's just the official term for the age-related loss of muscle mass. And this is so important for our senior pets because keeping that lean muscle is the key to their mobility, their strength, and their overall health.
This chart really puts it all into perspective. As our senior dogs get older, their bodies can go through this huge shift. They might lose about 10% of their lean body mass, that's their muscle, while at the same time, their fat mass can increase by 10%. And the craziest part? This can happen even if the number on the scale stays exactly the same. That's why the right nutrition is absolutely vital to fight back against that muscle loss.
So, this brings us to the real heart of the issue. Because of these changes, a ton of myths have popped up around what senior dogs are supposed to eat. It is time to set the record straight on some of the most common and, frankly, some of the most harmful misconceptions out there.
Hey, remember that survey we mentioned earlier? Well, it uncovered some really common beliefs. Check this out. A whopping 81% of owners think senior food should be lower in calories. 75% think it should have less fat. And a full 51%, that's more than half of us, think it should be lower in protein.
But here's the reality. A study that looked at 37 different senior dog foods found that the nutrient levels are all over the place. I mean, calories per cup went from 246 all the way up to over 400. The protein content varied by almost 3 times. The truth is, there's no industry standard for what senior food actually means.
And this right here, this is the biggest myth we need to bust. For decades, people thought that less protein was better for an older dog's kidneys. But study after study on healthy older dogs has shown that's just not true. In fact, to fight off that muscle loss, that sarcopenia we talked about, their protein needs can actually go up.
How much can they go up? Well, get this. Research suggests a senior dog might need up to 50% more protein than a younger adult dog, just to hold on to their muscle. That is a massive difference, and it's the exact opposite of what more than half of us believe. So, we've busted the myths, we've got our label reading glasses on. What does this all mean when you're standing in that pet food aisle? Let's put it all together and build a recipe for healthy aging. Okay, here's your new checklist. First, you're looking for a diet with high-quality, easily digestible protein to support those muscles. You also want to find omega-3s like EPA and DHA to help out their aging joints and brains. And, critically, you have to make sure the calorie count is right for your specific dog's activity level and body condition.
And how do you know their body condition? Well, you can use a super simple tool that vets use all the time called the Body Condition Score. An ideal dog, a 4 or a 5 on this chart, should have ribs you can easily feel with just a light touch, and you should be able to see a clear waist when you look down at them from above. This is a much better way to track their health than just a number on a scale. Let's just let the experts have the final say on this. As veterinary nutritionist Dr. D.P. LaFlamme says, protein restriction for healthy older dogs is not only unnecessary, it can be detrimental. What that really means is that by feeding them less protein, we could actually be making that age-related decline worse, the very thing we're trying so hard to prevent. So the power is really in your hands now. You've got the tools to look right past all the fancy packaging and read the label for what it actually is, a recipe. So the question is, now that you know all this, what are you going to be looking for to help your best friend age as gracefully as possible?
Protein restriction for healthy senior dogs is detrimental. As nutritionist Dr. LaFlamme states, your dog may require up to 50% more protein to maintain muscle mass. Use this knowledge to ensure your dog ages in the best possible health.